are continuing to focus on translating words into math. Notice the difference in what we're doing today. We're translating word problems. When it says problems, I mean word problems, some long, some not so long, into equations. If it's an equation, it means it has what in it? It's not an expression, but an equation. Diego, it should have? No, these will all have variables, but that doesn't have to be an equation still. Jenna Grace? An equal sign, which means we can solve it. Now, you don't need to write this down. Let me just show you what I mean. If I had 8 plus x, I can't say solve that. X could be anything, right? But if I have 8 plus x equals 10, so this is just an expression. With equals 10, now I have an equation. Now I can solve for x, right? X equals 2. If it's just an expression, I can't solve it. I don't know what x equals. So just keep in mind that what we're looking for today is an equation. Okay? So that was kind of simple. Let me start you out with an example. Let's see. CJ has twice as much money as Jim. Together, they have $36. Now, for today, you're not solving. You don't have to tell me. It doesn't say how much money does each one have. That's the next step. And then we solve it and we find out how much money they each have. Today, we're just working on translating into equations. So, the first thing we need to do is to try to figure out what variable are we going to use. Now, there's two unknown things, right? CJ's money and Jim's money. We can only, listen carefully, we can only have one variable right now. Now, don't write this down. If I said, let's say C for CJ and J for Jim, if I did this, is there any way to solve? Good, thumbs down. There is not. CJ could have $1, Jim could have 35. CJ could have $20, Jim could have 16. There's multiple answers. So we can't use different variables. Now, for this, I'm going to start and I'm going to use J for Jim. If J is my unknown amount of money, that's the only variable I can use. Now, before I continue, together they have $36. What's the total amount of money? Jim? $36. Whenever we have a total, or in this case it doesn't even say the word total, but it tells us that together that's the total amount they have, that is like our answer. Total, in all, together, that's our answer, equals 36. What kind of equation? If we're putting their money together to get an answer of $36, what would go here? Can you just describe it in words? Vincent? Just can you describe in words? What am I going to do? You said plus, right? First of all, we're going to add their amounts together, right? So you have to be able to think. What operation am I going to use? And I heard Vincent say add or plus, right? Together means we're going to combine them by adding. So what would the two parts be, Vincent, that we were going to add together? Not variables yet, just words. What are the two things I'm adding together here? CJ's money and Jim's money, right? Now, I'm not putting that into the variables yet. I'm just kind of labeling it. You don't have to label it like this. I'm just showing you here how to think about it. Now, Jim, we said Jim's money, that I'm going to use J for that. Now using J, I can't use a C for CJ. Using J, I look back at the information. CJ has twice as much money as Jim. If Jim has J dollars, how do I use J to represent CJ's amount? See a few ideas. Daniel?
J times 2.
J times 2? You can write it like that. I'm just going to simplify and push them together. 2j, anytime we push them together without the times dot or times symbol, the number comes first. We wouldn't say j2, we'd say 2j. But you could do like Daniel said and say 2 times j. Or j times 2. That's fine. This is it. Here's your equation. Now, without thinking about it, you might get the wrong equation. You got to stop and think. Questions on that one? Okay, let's do another one. A log is sawed into 2 pieces. Oh, let me do a little caret here. It is a 60-inch log. I cut down a tree, and it's 60 inches. So there's my log. A 60-inch log is sawed or cut into 2 pieces. One piece is 4 inches longer than the other. So I cut them into 2 pieces, but they're not equal. One is 4 inches longer than the other one. Now the question would be, what are the lengths of the pieces? But let me just remind you, you don't have to answer these. Today the equation itself is your answer. So first of all, let's start with the total. The 2 pieces together make how much of a log? Diego?
60 inches.
Yeah, 60 inches. Right, that's the total length. Now, there's more than one way you could do this. There are some other options. When I show you these tomorrow, if you are a good math student and you came up with another way, it could still be right. So there's more than one way, just know that. I'm showing you what I think is the most obvious answer, but you might have some other ideas. Now, think about what we're doing. This one would also be addition. They're not all addition, but many of them will be. What am I adding together? Let's say the long piece and the short piece. Again, you don't have to do these labels in your homework unless you want to. If it helps you, then write them. It doesn't take that long. Now, I think it's usually easier to give a variable to the shorter or smaller amount. So I'll show you 2 different ways you could finish this. Let's say the short piece. Let's say we call it x. Or you could call it s for short. Just be careful that doesn't look like a 5. If the short piece is x inches long, one piece is 4 inches longer than that. How do I say 4 inches longer than x? 4 more than x, right? The short one, the long one is that amount and 4 more. How would I say that? CJ, did you have an idea?
4x.
Now that's 4 times longer. Notice it doesn't say 4 times longer. It's only 4 inches more. More? Pammy? Good, plus. It's the long one is this same amount plus an extra 4, right? It's 4 inches longer, not 4 times longer. So be careful with that. 4 plus x. Now, if you say x plus 4 for the long piece, is that still correct? Yeah. And you guys should know that that's an acceptable. You can add in any order. Now, here's an answer. Done. Let me show you one other possibility you could have done for this, and then we're done. What if I set up the same exact way? Oh, long plus short equals a total of 60. But what if you picked the long one for your variable? Let's say this is x. Now, what do I say for the short piece? It's the long one, but the long one is 4 inches more. Jaden?
Minus 4.
X minus 4. So here's what I mean, there's more than one way to do it. Both of these are correct. Both of these will give the same answer if we were to solve it. So tomorrow, I may only show you this one. But if you have this and you want to ask about it, please do. Please ask, because there's more than one way. Questions? Kate?
So for that, do I have to put
Parentheses. For this, you don't need to. eventually, Kate, when we get to solving these, and if you want to put parentheses, Kate, it's not wrong. Like if you want to say this one is all 1Ps, you can do that, that's fine. It's not wrong to have those, but you don't have to have them. Because let's say we were going to solve this. 4 plus x, I can't add those together because I don't know what x is. But if I had x plus x, I could change this, combine my like terms. X plus x is 2x. I start by subtracting 4, then I divide by 2. You don't have to do this part yet. So if you want to add parentheses for the two pieces, you can. But you don't have to unless if I'm trying to force an addition to happen first, if there's a mix of signs, like maybe multiplication and addition, you might want to think about parentheses, but here it's just if we're adding and subtracting everything, we would just go left to right, whether there's parentheses there or not. Good question, any others? Okay, now these are hard to think about, but notice there's not a lot of work to show. I'm not going to make you write the word problem, I just want to see your equations.